Welcome to Buckingham Business Review. I'm your host, Bernie Wolford. This is a video magazine that examines the intersection of people, strategy, and tactics. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to have in our studio Mr. Ron Reardon. His company is Patents and More. And Ron, without further ado, why don't you share with our audience what you do and about your company, Patents and More.
Sure, Bernie. We protect the inventions of inventors. So we work with the patent office in order to get long-term protection for them. And in addition to that, we also connect them with the other resources that they need, trusted vendors that I've developed relationships with over the years.
Okay. I don't recall that as a major in my college. How did you get into this line of work?
Well, I enjoy working with creative people. And when I retired from AT&T, I was looking at what I was going to do and decided that inventors are creative people. I'm an inventor myself, and decided that I'd be able to work with inventors.
Okay. We're of course in Atlanta, and it increasingly has become the center of a lot of entrepreneurial activity, a lot of technology. I've always had a question with regard to when should a company consider patent protection? Is it a function of the size of the company? Only the large companies can do this, or every small company with a patentable process or product should do it? What are some of the rules and guidelines for considering applying and receiving a patent?
Well, there's a lot of different factors involved. One is whatever it is that you want to protect, how long is it going to last? Since the patent process takes a couple years, if you have a product or a service that's going to be outdated in 1 or 2 years, then that's a good reason not to get a patent. And you also look at cost. It's going to cost it's going to be a investment on the company's part to actually start the patent process. And so they need to look at how much money do they expect to make off of it versus what the cost is. And if it's going to cost more to patent it than they're going to get out, that's a no-brainer. But basically, if they've got a core technology that they want to protect, then that's a real good reason for patenting. And if they want to create a barrier to entry from their competitors, then patents, the government gives you the right to prohibit other people from making, using, selling, or importing the patented device or process. And so creating a barrier to entry is another real good reason.
Now, I have heard or read, in addition to making the decision to apply for a patent and hopefully receiving it, you should also be prepared to defend it. Or you would question one without the other. You're sort of committing to both. Is that true?
Yeah, the patent owner is responsible for defending their patent. Okay. So if you discover somebody's infringing on your patent and you make the decision not to defend it, that's a decision that you look at what the potential cost could be and everything. But sometimes a simple cease and desist letter, gets the job done. Okay. Because you actually notify the person. They could be totally unaware that they're infringing on your patent. Okay. So you send them in cease and desist. They say, "Oops, gee, we're sorry." I read about that recently with a company that they thought something was in the public domain and they were doing it, and as soon as they were notified, they're like, "Whoops, stop!" and they quit. So it could be very inexpensive. Okay,
so it may not be a matter of several $100,000 and an attorney taking it to court to defend your patent. It could be a 44-cent letter.
Yeah, but it's a lot more than $100,000. The minimum on an infringement suit used to be $1 million. It's now $2 million. However, ever since the BlackBerry case, where the attorneys took 30% of the settlement, which ended up being $600 million, they didn't charge the client anything, they just took 30%. Right. There's a lot of attorneys now that will defend you, based on contingency. Okay, so while you don't have to pony up the $2 million yourself, a lot of times it doesn't cost you anything, especially if the person or the company that is infringing has very deep pockets. Then the attorneys will be lined up at your door saying, "We would like to represent you in this kind of case."
Okay. From the day I'm physically holding my patent, how many years of protection do I get against the way it's written on that document?
Yeah, and it depends on what type of patent that you're holding.
Okay.
If you're holding a design patent, you've got 14 years from the day that you're holding your patent.
Okay.
Now, if it's a utility patent that covers the structure or the process of making it, using it, then it's going to be 20 years from the date that you first filed it. So if you filed it and you get the patent in, say, 3 to 5 years, then it's still going to be 20 years from the date that you actually filed.
So the date stamp of filing is critical for the time period that it's covered.
For utilities, yes.
All right. Any situations where it would be inappropriate or not applicable to think about getting some patent protection?
Yeah, once again, it depends on your business strategy. If you're in an area that is evolving very quickly and you've invented something, but you know in your product plan you're going to come out with the new and improved version in 2 years, and then 2 years after that an even better version, and you're constantly innovating and innovating, and you know that your competitors, without a patent, that they'll start producing the one that you made first, but as they start to produce the first one, then you produce the second one that just makes theirs obsolete, and so they're always running and trying to catch up with you. That's a good reason not to get a patent, is because you know that's your strategy, is innovate, 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 and your competitors just can't stay up with you because you're moving so fast.
Excellent. Well, we're visiting with Ron Reardon of Patents and More, and Ron will be returning for a few additional segments, and we're going to drill down into some specific examples and perhaps some case studies of the way Ron works with his clients in this area of patents. So until next time, this is your host, Bernie Wolford, Buckingham Business Review. Thank you.